All right, so we were finally able to get our hands on some Urza Sagas and Mishra's Baubles at the same time, and we're gonna be playing some Affinity here. For those who don't know what Affinity is or was, back in the day, Affinity was a deck that was super low to the ground with a bunch of small creatures, artifacts, and you would use these small creatures and artifacts and try to race your opponent to kill them quickly using cards like Cranial Plating, which grows your creatures based on the number of artifacts you control. You did that. You had things like Signal Pest to give all your creatures +1/+0 when it attacked. You had things like Steel Overseer, which puts a +1/+1 counter on each artifact you control. You have things like Arcbound Ravager, which allows you to sacrifice artifacts and put +1/+1 counters onto the Ravager. It was a neat deck, and it sadly just slowly got outpaced over time, and then the banning of Mox Opal kind of killed it. But with Modern Horizons 2, a variant has shown back up. As you saw, I mentioned cards like Steel Overseer and Arcbound Ravager. Those are nowhere to be seen. Instead, we have the more traditional actual Affinity for Artifact cards, such as Frogmite, which is a 2/2, which costs 4 mana, or in this case, probably 0. And Mirror Enforcer, another Affinity for Artifacts 4/4 for 7 mana. And then what Modern Horizons 2 brought with it was Sojourner's Companion, another 4/4 with Affinity for Artifacts, Thought Monitor as a way to draw more cards and give yourself a 2/2 body with flying. And then, of course, everybody knows the big and the bad Urza's Saga. Card is fantastic in this deck because you're playing a bunch of artifacts, so making those constructs is very, very strong. And then being able to search for any of these 20 cards allows us to have some fun. It also brought along Razortide Bridge and Mistvault Bridge. They enter tapped, but they are indestructible and can tap for colors. And they're artifact lands, so they help with the affinity aspect. We also got Nettlecyst. Forgot about that card. Nettlecyst is close to Cranial Plating. It gives +1/+1 instead of just +1/+0. Cranial Plating, you can change who is attached to it instant speed. You can't with Nettlecyst, but Nettlecyst also gives itself a body when you play it. So it's not that terrible of a card. In terms of what we're looking at for sideboard here, is we've got ourselves a bit of similar things to what robots had been playing all along. We got some Mitch Champions because protection from everything. Well, not everything. Protection from all colors. Pretty strong. You got some Soul Guide Lanterns to deal with the graveyard stuff. A Relic of Progenitus in case we need to exile our own graveyard. Probably not too relevant, but might come up. Dismember to deal with creatures. And then Spell Pierces to deal with non-creature spells such as Rest in Peace and Stony Silence. Rest in Peace actually isn't that bad, but Stony Silence, for example. And then we have Aethersworn Canonist to stop those Cascade type decks. Disenchants for those enchantment things. And Artifact Hate. And then Dispatch because who needs Path to Exile, which gives them a land, when instead we're probably going to have 3 or more artifacts. So you just get to exile instead for 1 white. It's a fun, different effect. With that being said, let's see how Robots does in some leagues. But the burst, I don't disagree with that part. Okay. So turn 1, 2 Ornithopters. Turn 2, we could technically put out a plating. I think it's worth 1 mulligan here. Okay. Keep 6. Bottom, I guess, the Glimmer Void. Let's see what we can do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We won't be able to play the Spear Enforcer out this turn. They're bubbling us. Interesting. And they're a Luris deck. Oh, they're a Ragavan Luris deck. Fun. And they're going to be able to give it first strike. Interesting. So that welding jar, springleaf drum, ornithopter, welding jar, bobble, mirror enforcer. And let's go ahead and bobble them. Unholy Heat, of course. Why wouldn't they get exactly the card that they need? No, they don't have Delirium. What are these legendary lands? Target creature gains fear in first strike? Okay. So we're looking for a land off the top here. That's a land. Cranial plating. Equip and hit for 7. Opponents complaining about nut hands. Oligan's command, nice. So they get to shatter and shock. We get to save the plating. I'm assuming they get in for 4 here. They hold back. Yep. I've got my play set, so. Alright. Play out a land, move to combat. Oh, I know. He's got so many. You're gonna bolt. I mean, I can regen, but that doesn't buy us anything here. So that bolt happens. Now we'll hold back the 4/4 as a blocker and pass the turn. Graven Carns. Okay. Swings with the Dark Confidant. I'll take it. It's a Dark Confidant. It's 2 damage. I'm at 20. Opponent concedes. Okay. And so we make, obviously we make a construct there. We make a construct and then we get at 1. Oh, at 1 we get Ginger Brute. And I guess we technically wouldn't have to make a construct there. We could just get Ginger Brute, equip Ginger Brute, give Ginger Brute. It can't be blocked except by creatures with haste. So we're facing red-black stuff. Let's do Dispatch. Let's do Etch Champions. And let's grab... Yeah, we'll grab some Spell Pierce. Why not? shave a frogmite, shave a companion. Actually, we'll shave 2 companions. And we've got 3 to cut. And a Memnite, they've got plenty of blockers. I like welding jar, so we will cut another frogmite. And I guess a drum. Those 6 out, these 6 in. I don't know what I'm worried about here with the spell pierces. Because we didn't see much. We know that they're a Luris deck. So they're a Luris deck. They're pretty low to the ground. Let's cut that and bring back in Memnite and Springleaf Drum. And let's see what we can do. So, blah, blah, blah. So we have 3 artifacts turn 1. 4 artifacts turn 2. 2 mana available. So we'd need 1 more 1/0 drop. But we'd be able to deal with the monkey turn 1. We'll try it. It's a little on the land heavy side, but they lead off on red. So this puts us in a precarious position. We'll go Dark Steel Springleaf Drum. Pass. And Croaksa make us discard, that's fine. Discard the Thought Monitor. This, and then we draw an Inkmoth Nexus, huh? Okay. Go ahead and play out our pro color guy. Now we've got ourselves a dispatch up. Next turn. Wonder what they're trying to do here. I guess they could Lily. Shattering Spree, replicate. And so you're gonna... I mean, you can't target the Etched Champion. So you can replicate and make it so you can target the Etched Champion next turn. That's fine. Oh no, you shattered it. Whatever will I do? Play an indestructible land? Yeah, we'll go ahead and get in. Dragon Rage Channeler. That's a nice card. Bolt targeting upstairs, probably. Then they get the surveil, turning on delirium. Saga, huh? We'll drop a Saga. And pass the turn. Bolts us, they get to surveil. We already knew this was happening. Gonna go ahead and bolt upstairs to surveil again. They liked the card, they put it on top. Puts Luris to hand. Makes sense. Darn. So we can't construct plus nettlecyst, so we'll just construct. Go ahead and get in for 2. Their hand is Luris and 2 unknowns. Urza, huh? Okay. I'll take 3 and discard a land. Make ourselves a construct. Keeping up colored mana. Got ourselves a 4/4. And this... Oh, because we drew that, that's fine. We do this, make a construct. Say yes, go grab ourselves a Springleaf Drum here. And play out the Memnite. We go full shields down for a second. But it does give us 3 8/8s on the battlefield. Opponent goes to 5. Let's see what they can do. They've got Kroxa, but that buys them a blocker. They could Shattering Spree again and hit 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and so they hit all their 8/8s. Makes sense. That's fine. Double Shattering Spree is fine. Because they tapped out for that, and we still have a 2/2 and our 1/1. We take them down to 2, and then they have to deal with the metalcraft. I don't see how they do that. Like their best case, this costs that. We get flying, draw 2. Okay. Land, combat. Swing with both of those. Take opponent down to 2. We're at 11. And second main, cast Bauble. Set a stop on their upkeep. See what they're drawing. Dragon Rage Channeler. So their hand is Luris, Dragon Rage 2 unknown. Don't get how you beat the Thought Monitor Etch Champion. Etch Champion seems like a real nice card when you have 2 indestructible lands. And the fact that we now get to run 6 of them. And with that, we go 1-0. I like how this deck feels. It feels very similar to old Affinity. Let's keep it going and see what we can do. We did not win the die roll, but that is fine. This will be interesting. Huh. True. The double nettlecyst is kind of meh, and we're not really doing anything with this Saga. So let's ship this hand back. Doesn't do anything. Down to 5 we go. We can keep this 5. Bottom. Darksteel and a Mist Vault. We can remove that stop. Razortide Ornithopter, pass turn. Arguably, I should be holding the Ornithopter until next turn because I'm not doing anything with it. This exposes us to removal. But we don't exactly have something to do with the 1 mana anyway. So, Bant, Charming Prince, Scry. I have absolutely no idea what we're facing here. Because they didn't reveal Urian. They put 2 cards on bottom. Another Ornithopter, huh? Opponent's debating something there. Go ahead and cast that, and then pass the turn. Can't really get in. And so let's see, Jace, or not Jace, Teferi, Time Raveler. Jace, the Mind Sculptor's worth doing the turn after this. Oh, Skyclave. Okay. Skyclave hits an Ornithopter because Skyclave can't hit the Frogmite. I could trade. I'm I'm fine with not. It's 2 damage. Play out the nettlecyst. As a force of negation, exiles time warp. Play out a fragment. Alright. Gotta love them tapping out and being fine. Ewit gets back force of negation. Unless they really need their land drop. Apparently they really need their land drop. Meaning this is definitely some ETB type deck. Kinda wish I had a Torpor Orb in the sideboard. Holds back everything. Fetches. It's a plains and passes the turn. Saga's pretty great. One mana ephemerates the Skyclave. Sure. We get to make a 0/0 token and then they get to exile or 0/0. Fun. Rebound, you can ephemerate. I guess you target your Eternal Witness, so that way the Eternal Witness gets to hit your ephemerate again. So this is just the Bant ephemerate deck. Three mana. Deputy of Detention hits both Frogmites. Ouch. And then smacks us for 4. Yep. They do a pretty good job of clearing our board there. We get this ability. Go ahead and make a construct and cast a Frogmite. I've got a 4/4 and a 2/2. Gonna ephemerate the Deputy, gives us our Frogmites back, and then hits Frogmites again. Shrinks our construct down to a 3/3. But they can't exactly target it with what they have on board. But they're just gonna do this Ewit ephemerate nonsense. Coiling Oracle. Noble Hierarch is revealed. And then they play the Noble. Swings, offering a trade. We will not do that trade. This end, and then we draw. Alright, that's what we draw. So we'll do this. Make ourselves a construct. Search our library for an artifact. What do we want here? Arguably, it's... Huh. None of these are great. We'll grab a welding jar. Play out a springleaf drum here. And pass the turn. We've got ourselves some 6/6s up. And they can ephemerate their Coiling Oracle. And all other non-lands. So it goes after the construct. Yeah. And then rebound hits the Frogmites. Yep. Does this. I don't know why they do it this way, unless they have absolutely nothing else going on. Because they could have got in for 2 more points of damage there. 2, 4, 6, 7. Versus 6 twice. It's the same. But now I get to block. Yes, I'm gonna do this. Because I get to regenerate the artifact. And you get no points of damage in now. Fun. Oh no, I got rid of my welding jar. Because you were gonna be doing that anyway. Ginger brute. It's a 1/1, so he can block the most damage. Ice Fang draws. Rebound probably hits the Ewit. Yeah. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go ahead and gain the life. Just to stall them a bit. And we're not beating that board state, so let's go ahead and concede. What do we have in our sideboard other than the dispatches and the dismembers? Because those are definitely coming in. And I guess the champions aren't bad. I can make an argument for the relic. That's a lot coming in, though. Canonist is a maybe. I don't think Canonist is what we want to be doing. Disenchants, bleh. Until, you know, they drop a Stony Silence because they weren't playing any artifacts. I just have to preemptively bring these in, don't I? Because they were banned. That's so much in. Cut thought monitors because we're probably cutting artifacts here. Cut that, cut that. Now we've got 5 to still cut. We'll make it 4 by not bringing in the relic. Yes, they do graveyard shenanigans with the whole ephemerate and bleh, Ewit, but I don't think that graveyard's mainly what their deck's doing. I think that's just a value type plan. Shave a Brute, Shave a Memnite. They've got lots of blockers on the ground, not a lot in the air. I like the Frogmites, and let's change this to that just because Companion's strictly better Enforcer. Cut a Babble and a Plating? Nettlecyst. Run it like so. Gives us a bit more removal. Isn't gives us actually having removal. So no. A little too land heavy here. We can definitely keep this though. Keep this 6. So turn 1 is just Citadel Pass. Turn 2 is Island Memnite. We have 2 artifacts, making this cost 3. We have 2 mana. We'll bottom the Thought Monitor. No. Bottom the companion. Just set it all say go. Hoping to hit a 0 drop here. That'll do it. Put a stop on their upkeep. Do we crack the bauble? So 4, making this cost 1, making this cost all of our mana. No, we hold the bauble until we have to crack it. They go down with the windswept. Themselves a hollowed fountain, shocks it in. White. Prismatic endings, the 1/1. Okay. We draw that. That's not a bad draw. This costs 3. Oh. So we do have to play out the Ornithopter first. Unfortunate. Then we get Thought Monitor here. Disdainful Stroke. Okay. Now we're in an interesting position of, is it better to make a construct or is it better to make mana? Skyclave. Yikes. Skyclave's an Ornithopter. What's up, D20? Let's go ahead and see what we're drawing. We can't affect it. A Frogmite. Okay, that's not terrible. Frogmite and Bobble. Now we get that. Cast the Bobble. Do this. Cast a Frogmite. So 5. It'll be 6. Let's go ahead and see what they're drawing. A Hierarch. Okay, not terrible bad. Do they play the card we know of? They do. Let's see what they can do. Not a lot of. So Bobble, and then that trigger happens. We draw a lot of cards. Do it this way. Say yes. Get ourselves a drum. Play our land for the turn. Tap that guy down to play out a 2/2 flyer. That'll draw us cards. And go ahead and cast that for free. And counter target colorless spell. Okay, you countered a 4/4. Begin combat, swing for 8. See what we can do. Yeah, they chump with their Skyclave and Ephemerate. Ephemerates. Nice. You get to get rid of my Ornithopter. Okay. Damage happens. I'm okay with shrinking these guys to 6/6s after we see where this is going. Ah, they're gonna try to draw a card. And then they're gonna target there again. They want to draw a card. We want to see what card that they're drawing here. A forest. All right. So they play out that forest that we know about. And now they have 3 unknowns. The Coiling Oracle. They've got a lot of cards. Path. Prismatic Ending. And hits a construct. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I'm sad. Yes, we draw a good amount of things. You that this. They're tapped it down. We're gonna hold the ink moth back. And swing with those. Actually, yeah, we'll swing out. They're tapped out. Block, and use their oracle. We lose our frogmite, but that's fine. For some reason, I thought oracle. Skyclave is a 2/2. Yeah. Oracle's a 1/1. So they've got going for the exalted game plan there. Okay. We'll take 2. Welding jar, huh? Swing. Yeah, we'll swing both. So this forces us to have to crack to region. And now they have the ephemerate. Oh, they have the path. Fun. Yeah, I don't have any, but we'll take the shuffle. Let's say I believe we only have 1 island in the list. And they take 2. And we will pass the turn. We are looking for more redraw. Or... Let's see. Ah, they swing with the oracle. We'll take 4. This we draw. Because it enters tapped, we'll go ahead and play it out and just not try to bluff anything here. Hold back. If they go for this swing. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 artifacts. Meaning with the cranial plating, that's +9/+0, making Ink Moth instantly lethal. Let's go ahead and try this. Just to stem the bleeding here. In step, and then they lose their oracle. Cast ourselves a 4/4 body. Offer the trade. Solitude flashed in. All right. Wasn't expecting that one. Then we gain 4. They take 2, and then they're going to hit us for 6. Okay. We're in trouble. Yep. There's the Saga. That's fine. Gives us a pretty big body. We hold the thought monitor back because I can't take 6 more than one more time. Another noble. Meaning it's now 7. I would like to block that. Yes, they have lifelink and they're going to gain a lot of life off of that. But can't do anything about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it'll be an 8, whatever. Swings with that in the air, huh? Just too much to be taking damage from. Soul Herder. And they're gonna Soul Herder, exile. Targeting there. That's fine. Let that happen. Yep. Go ahead and make ourselves a construct. And let's do it again. So we have a couple of 8/8s. This is where this being the Shadow Spear would be very good. Because then we could give it lifelink and trample. Granted, I'm sure they have something in their 2 cards and 7 mana available. 6 mana, but still. The problem is we don't have a lot more in terms of blockers here. So we have to just get Ornithopter and a blocker, and then we've got swing for 10. But they've got 4 chump blockers that we have to get through here before it starts mattering. Just takes it. That means that they have Deputy Detention here and we're dead. No Deputy, huh? I'll take the 5 this time. Because now cranial plating is lethal. Yeah, you're gonna flicker Solitude. And we gain life equal to its power. So we gain 10. And does Soul Herder have flying? No. It's this plating. Sadly, we can't change where this equip's going. Not like we would anyway. Sure thing. I still gain 10 more life. Go ahead and equip here so that way we gain 18 when they flicker this solitude again. Yep. And now I'm at 45. Now I get to find an answer. Inkmoth Nexus here is pretty harsh for you to be able to deal with, opponent. Granted, I only have one in the deck at this point, but that's fine. Yeah, I'll take 12. Then they flicker Ice Fang, get themselves another card draw. So Torpor Orb, real good against this deck. Probably not what we want to be doing, so I wouldn't suggest it. But definitely an option. Because, oh, well, Torpor Orb shuts off our Thought Monitor, so no. But I guess you could board out Thought Monitor. Just thoughts. Yep, we'll take it. Alright. Ewit, Ephemerate. Now they've just got that combo going on forever. Oh, and then they can also exile the Eternal Witness and get back other things. Like Prismatic Ending. Disdainful Stroke is what they choose. Go ahead and play out the tapped land. Pass the turn. Swings for 14. So we are dead. Next turn. We need Etched Champion off the top. Exactly Etched Champion here. Because Soul Herder we can block. Doesn't have flying. Unless they pick up Ceremonious Rejection, which is probably what they're grabbing. Yep. Okay. We have to hope that they now choose to not play the card that they just picked up in order for us to win this game. Something tells me our opponent's not going to be that bad, but you never know. Disenchant. All right. Well, that card's absolutely useless against them. We are dead to the Soul Herder. Dismember would have been great to see a lot earlier. All right, so losing to Bant Ephemerate, but hey, not surprising there. Deck's very solid in comparison to what we're trying to do. All right, so I see turn 2. So turn 2, Thoughtcast for 1. Sure, we'll try it. Chancellor of the Forge. Beginning of the first upkeep, make a 1/1 Phyrexian Goblin creature token with haste. I am so concerned as to what we're about to be facing. Makes me think it's one of those Cascade style decks. We hold the bauble here, so that way we do in fact get the Thoughtcast for 1. Wooded Foothills passes the turn. Phyrexian Goblin does not come at our face. Thought casts. Springleaf Drum, Welding Jar. This costs 1. Sure. We'll play out both of them. Upkeep. Let's see what they're drawing. A Seasoned Pyromancer. Go ahead and do this. Draw 2. Fun draws. Yeah, we'll play this out. White. Get cranial plating. Do this. Equip. Swing for 10. Opponent takes 10 in the air. What you got for us, opponent? Concedes. So I'm betting they're one of these Search for Tomorrow type deck, or not Search for Tomorrow, the Glimpse of Tomorrow, whatever. Exile cards, flip the top cards of your library, put that many permanents into play. I'm betting with the Pyromancer that we saw and them doing that. So I definitely like these Aethersworn Canonists. I'm betting since they're in the red, probably red-green, we're going to be looking at things like Shattering Spree and whatnot. So we want these as champions. And Spell Pierce honestly doesn't seem terrible. Yeah, the Spell Pierce. In terms of what we're getting rid of, we can shave a Thought Cast and a Thought Monitor. We don't need as much card draw. Shave on a Brute and a Memnite. I've got 2 to get rid of still. Get rid of Nettlecyst because it's the worst cranial plating. And get rid of a Mirror Enforcer. And get rid of the other Mirror Enforcer, bring in a Thought Monitor. Just to keep our flyers in. And let's see how this does. So, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Hand seems a bit slow. It's like 1 land too much. We'll try this. Again, it's still a bit on the slow side for a hand. But it does give us Sagas. Temple Garden tapped. This we draw. Cranial plating. Okay. Not a bad draw there. Leading off on a tapped land and passing the turn. Hollowed Fountain tapped. Interesting draw. That we will gain the ability to tap for mana. And play out a cranial plating. Pass the turn. And let's see this Stony Silence. The Force of Vigor hits our land. Okay. That's fine. Just as good as a Stony Silence for them there. Misty Rainforest down to 19. Let's see this red. Wow, we just happened to see a bunch of red cards. So Shardless Agent into the... Yeah, into the Glimpse of Tomorrow. And then Glimpse puts 3 permanents, and they missed on everything except they did hit a Chancellor. That 5/5 is not going to be easy for us to deal with. They get in for 1. We go down. 19. Citadel, huh? The Citadel makes next turn actually viable. Springleaf Drum. We're going to be taking 8 to the face here, down to 11. And then we've got the champion on blocking duty for the rest of eternity. Yeah, we take 8. Down to 11 we go. All these for blue. 1. Etch champion. Pro colors. So interestingly enough, we could take 6. We take 6 this turn, then it's a 6-turn clock. If we take 3 for 4 turns, it's a 4-turn clock. Doesn't swing out. Interesting choice. Let's lead off on that, see what we hit. Okay. Glimmer Void, this Springleaf, Bobble. I mean, we're not... This has champions on blocking duty. End of discussion. See what they're drawing. Chance of the Forge. Okay. We'll draw 2. Pretty nice 2 to draw. That, this, you, a Thought Monitor, and draw 2. Frogmite. Alright. Now we've established a board and a clock. You got bobbles. They're not cheap right now for renting. And opponent's done with that. Yeah, no. Getting the baubles and the Urza Sagas was a fun time, trying to hope that the rental service had them both. But hey, 2-1 right now. Blah, 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 blah. Not really keepable here. Little too high. Not bad to have the Thought Monitor. But our turn 1 is just a misfault. And our turn 2 would be Ginger Brute and Frogmite. Nope, couldn't be Ginger Brute and Frogmite. We wouldn't have enough artifacts. We will mulligan once here. So this is definitely keepable. The question is, do we bottom the nettlecyst or the cranial plating? And I believe it's the nettlecyst. Because... we'll keep the nettlecyst. Reasoning for keeping the nettlecyst there is because that way, turn 2, if we hit a land drop, we will be able to play it. And we're facing prowess. Great. This bobble, stringleaf drum, frogmite, pass turn. So this makes me wonder what they've got. We'll just take the damage here. Because if it goes 1, now it's... Okay, 1 and second soul scar is fine. Island. It's pretty great. And now those baubles are definitely just staying back because we have ourselves a big 6/6. Cracking bauble shrinks it down. But a 6/6 is pretty strong to be starting off. So blue and red. And they have themselves a Stormwing entity. Sure, you've got a 3/3. Do you get in for 2 here and lose a Soul Scar? Nope. They hold. So they put 2 cards on top. Okay, so we draw that. That's not great, but that's fine. Go like that. Now we have ourselves an 8/8. Swing 8. Jumps with Soul Scar. And passes the turn. Let's go ahead and see what the first card that they drew is. It's a land. Okay. Dragon Rage Channeler. Yeah. Three in the air. We'll take it. Don't exactly have much of a choice there. This, we draw off a bauble, draw for the turn. Draw a bauble and a welding jar, huh? Okay. Not exactly what we want to be drawing here. But... So they can only put Ison into the yard. So this can't become a 3/3. But they could cast a spell and trade. We'll try it. Hmm. I guess they could put land in the yard. But then they couldn't cast their spell. They take 13. Okay. Not what I was expecting from them. We could move the weapon. It doesn't buy us anything. They draw themselves a card off the islet. Upkeep. Let's see what they're drawing for the turn. A lava dart. Might be exactly what they need here. Manamorphose, Surveils, and Prowess. Yield, yield, yield. Yep. And we know that they've got Lava Dart in hand. They need sorcery. Lightning bolts our face. They still need sorcery in the yard for delirium. Now they lava dart, targeting our face. Fun. So, they finally hit their sorcery for their Dragon Rage Channeler, so they get to hit us for 9, 10, 11. We'll be at 1. But 1 is not dead. They have no mana. I guess I haven't played a land for the turn. If their hand consists of land and spell. We go down to 11. And they don't have another mountain to sack. Alright. They did the math too. Because we block and then we kill on crackback. Yeah. Bird has prowess and Dart does 1, so we're taking 10 from what they had. And then we'd be at 11 after the Dart dealing 1. Alright. Blue, red prowess. Canonist doesn't seem like a bad card. They're probably not bringing in... I like Canonist. I like Champion. Dismember and Dispatch are both tempting here, and so is Spell Pierce. I feel bringing in all 6 of these is a bit much. Yeah, it's like, there's a lot that's good in this board. I know I want the Champions and the Canonists. And for that, we will cut the Enforcers and the Thought Casts. Yeah, Dismember hurts a bit. Bit too much, but Dispatch and Pierce are definitely fun cards. Bringing in those. They've got a lot of everything, but it's probably Shave a Memnite and Shave a Brute. Want to keep as many 0-drops as possible. Nettlecyst isn't terrible against them. I'm expecting Shattering Spree or the likes here. Need to cut 2. Some lists are playing Signal Pest as a 1-0. Some lists are playing Ginger Brute instead. I like Ginger Brute at the moment because of the whole can't be blocked except by creatures with haste. So you get Ginger Brute off of your Urza's Saga, pay 1 mana, make it so it can't be blocked, equip it with a nettlecyst or a cranial plating, and swing for lethal. Whereas Signal Pest is great if you have your early game creatures. So it's kind of 6 in one hand and half a dozen in the other. We just... No, I like our card draw. Trim those 2. Yeah, it's a fun line of text there. Yeah, monitors are great, and because they really only have their bird, which is going to be a high priority target for our dispatches anyway. I guess we probably could have also brought in graveyard stuff. Probably not as great against them. Huh. So the hand does nothing. But it's got a spell pierce. But the hand does nothing. Here we go. This hand does something. Keep, bottom of Glimmer Void, say done. Try a bit on the inside, as this has potential to be blown out by the turn 2 Manamorphose. We'll see. Turn 2 Manamorphose into Storming Entity is pretty good from them. Whereas we're probably going Razor Tide Bridge and pass, because we don't want to expose the Ornithopter until we absolutely have to. And yeah. So Razor Tide Bridge, pass the turn. Steam Vent shocked in. Let's see it. Yep. So instead what we could have done is we could have gone Glimmer Void and Ornithopter and then get blown out here if they had... Oh, good. They didn't have the Storming Entity. So now playing out the bridge is the better play. And then they lose the red. Really? 4 cards in hand and none of which are a single red? Huh. I really don't need to be drawing that card anymore, game. Glimmer Void, pass the turn. We pass here to hold up Spell Pierce. No point to play out the Ornithopter because we don't need it as a blocker right now. So keeping it in the hand to then hit Frogmite. Probably a mistake. I mean, even if he has Light Up the Stage, the red-blue is what they made off of the Manamorphose in main phase. So they had to use it there or lose it, right? Yeah, I'm really not a fan of you drawing cards and making mana. I let you get away with it the first time because I couldn't stop it, but the second time you're not going to be so lucky. So this allows us to play out Ornithopter and Frogmite. And then next turn we'll have Thought Monitor. We could Welding Jar Frogmite. Because we don't have any need to hold up mana. We'll go that line. Because we can't hold up the mana anyway. Or we don't have anything to use the mana to hold up on. Well, yes, it shows opponents that we're shields down. It makes them wonder what we have in hand. Alright, they get a tapped Steam Vents there. Red-blue iteration. Yep. Manamorphose is an exile, and then they do Manamorphose, give themselves a 3/4. Gets to draw some cards. Blue and red. Soulscar Mage, fun time. We'll take 3 here. I could block and regen. No, you're not gonna do that. Stop into next turn, land Cranial. Yeah, that's definitely another line. So this... I'm just curious, how much is it? blue and 2, so can't even cast it. So let's play out this Aethersworn Canonist and tell our opponent, go ahead. Problem is Regen, Shield, and Soulscar Mage. So we don't really get to get past this. It basically buys us, you have to target our Canonist for a turn. So if I don't block, they go bolt the Canonist, remove that effect, and then we die to prowess probably. If I block 1, makes it a lot harder for us to die. Not impossible, but a lot more difficult. Yeah. Yep. Oh, there's a tap land. And still costs the same amount. We're at 9. So plating here, and we're probably losing this game. Just from the aspect of they have 2 in hand and are at 14. They draw to go to 3. Dart destroys us here because it allows them to get rid of Frogmite. And then hopefully have in their other 3 cards answers. But maybe they don't have it. So 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, making this cost blue and 2. We'd have to tap out to play out a Thought Monitor if we block. But we kind of are sort of forced to block here. Again, feels awful, but can't not. A braid destroying that artifact, huh? So I can sack the welding jar to regenerate the cranial plating. We still lose our frogmite. We'd keep around the plating. But we would then be down an artifact. It's the same end result. This just keeps around our cranial plating, which they seem to want to get rid of. Then they go Stormwing. Makes sense. So ideally what we're looking for here is Darksteel Citadel off the top. Land this. This eats everything alive here. Try to draw an out. Memnite gives us another blocker. So we can block the entity and block one of the Soulscar mages. Next turn we have Darksteel Citadel into Thought Monitor and have up mana. And they have 3 cards in hand. So we might be dead to that play of them having the abrade. Because this is 6, we have to block. They have another spell. They do indeed. All right. I like what we brought in. I would like to see it this game. I don't think there's anything that we want over what we brought in. So let's run it back and hopefully have a better start. Or them have a worse start. One of the two. This, Interesting. Turn 1, Mist Vault Bridge. Turn 2... they don't play discard, so we can just hold on to these 0 drops until we need them. We have a Spell Pierce and a Champion. Spell Pierce is pretty good to stop their turn 2 shenanigans. Swift Spear, yeah. And a Bobble. Okay. Dogs. Well, that's a hand from them. Gets in for 3 on turn 1. And down to 17 we go. This bobbles us. And we draw a Darksteel Citadel. We'll play that this turn. Because that'll give us a niche champion next turn. And I could play out the Ornithopter as a blocker at this point. I don't think they're going to have such a strong turn 2 here, even though they are drawing 3 cards. Spire Bluff into nothing. We'll take 1. Soulscar Mage, I cannot counter that. Soulscar Mage, I cannot counter that. Here's a Saga. 1/1. We will go shields down for a turn from counters to have up Etch Champion. This forces them to have to play Stomp. I doubt that they're playing Stomp. A Bobble. Okay, they like the card that's on top, though. So our champion doesn't get to get rid of anything. They shock in here. Anamorphose, of course. The turn we go shields down, what do they do? Not surprised. They, again, still like the card, so they draw the card. The card that they liked was a Stormwind. Understandable why they liked the card. We're taking 6, going down to 10 here. Put both cards on bottom. This happens. They go ahead and bobble us, see what we're drawing. It's a Springleaf Drum. Well, so this becomes the very, very awkward lines. Because it's cast this, play this. We have out 2 Sagas. And we'll hold up the spell pierce. Expressive iteration. Seems like a pretty good thing to spell pierce. They put the card on top, so they liked it. Let's counter. Prowess, they grow their things. They play their islet. Combat begins. As flying. Unfortunate. Swings team. And I clicked through, meaning I'm missing a blocker here. So is this 2 damage going to matter? We're at 3. In comparison, we should be at 5. Let's see what they're drawing. Dragon Rage Channelers on top. We get a redraw here, and then we do that. Do those. However, sadly, we will not be able to do much here. This has to go get an Ornithopter. And even with what we've got in hand, it does not matter. 6 6s. 7 7s. Oh wait, they're dead. 8 8. Oh, I can't swing with this one. Dang it. Off by a turn. Because we can block 1 in the air and can't block them both. So if we had made that construct, we would probably be winning here. Because we would make, block, they'd be down a creature. And they wouldn't be able to get in for 3 in the air each. We'd be at 5. We'd be going down to 2 here. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. Misplay there. So turn 1, turn 2, we could play out both drums and Frogmite, and then we're doing nothing. Hand's got a lot of redraw if we can get there. However, turn 1 is that, turn 2 is this, so we can't keep that. Doesn't do enough. We can keep 5 of these, bottom the Inkmoth Nexus and Mirror Enforcer, because we're not getting to that anytime soon. Much rather have our 2 land drops. Plus making Thoughtcast cost 3 less. Spire Bluff Canal pass. That's concerning from opponent. Yeah, we'll hold the welding jar here. And Thought Scours themselves. So this, instead of being blue-red prowess, is blue-red. I'm going to call it blue-red Delver, even though it's not running Delver. Blue-red Delver. Steam Vent shocked in here. And a Sprite Dragon. Yeah. Bobble grows their dragon. Oh no. Double bobble. 3. That's a big one. Yep, we go down to 17. I'm assuming they bubble us to see what we're drawing. Yep. Springleaf drum. Not terrible. Welding jar. We'll just drop the springleaf drum and pass. It's not great. But we can't exactly do anything else. This makes it so that way if we have a 0 drop creature, we get to play the creature and then use that for Thoughtcast. However, I don't necessarily think that'll be relevant, because I'm expecting this is probably a Murktide reagent. Or Dragon Rage Channeler. Yeah. Yeah. Smacking us for 3 in the air, and then smacking us for 6 in the air, and then... Yeah. Fun times. Imagine probably eats their graveyard, plays out this Murktide. Has a 5/5. Yep. And we draw land. Here's a Saga. This cranial plating, blue, thought cast. Cannot cast the thought monitor. One, two, three, 4. And this costs blue and 2, so we lose out on a construct. Construct is fine because we can't block anything anyway. They unholy heat their own Murktide because we can't really deal, and it gives them possibly sorcery in the graveyard. They don't find it, but they find a land. And is this Serum Visions? Thought Scour to try to find lethal here. Did not find it yet. And got the creature. So one more spell, because this is only 13. Doesn't buy us anything though. We just can't deal with that board state of 2 5/5s and a 3/3. Down to 1 we go. This, that, and cool. Because they're all flying. Can't do anything about it. Alright, so facing the blue-red Delver-like list. Champions are yes. And before Gut Shot one time. That'd be impressive if they're running Gut Shot. Champions, dispatches. Not opposed to the Soul Guide or the Relic. Since these guys are trying to cast those Murktides early on. Getting those down early is not bad, and they're all 1-drops, which means we can grab them off of Urza's Saga. We've got 7 to cut. Cut a Brute. Cut the Enforcers. Cut Memnite. They've got lots of flyers, so we want as many flyers as possible here. Cut a nettlecyst, cut a frogmite. And one more to go away. Cut a thought cast. We could bring in Spell Pierce. I don't think we need to be stopping anything that they're casting that's a non-creature spell. So doesn't do anything turn 2, but turn 3 we have the thought cast to redraw. And we'll have out 5 artifacts, making the companion playable. Mulligan. Keep bottoming. Probably Frogmite here. Lead off on the bridge, pass the turn. Next turn we have a Ginger Brute. Get in for 1. Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay. Starting off incredibly strong from opponent. Bobbles us to see what we're drawing. They see an Ornithopter. That's fine. Razor Tide, Ginger Brute, Ornithopter, combat. Won ya. You want to trade? You sure? I think trading there's pretty good for you. So land off the top allows us to go cranial plating plus hold up dispatch. Question. We didn't see any white game 1, correct? I'm not crazy about that statement. Because Stony Silence in the board from Jeskai is insane. We now have a 1/1. And a bunch of things that cannot be used. Okay. Offer the trade. I know that there is the Jeskai list variant of this running around. I had just assumed that this was the blue-red list. That's a Sprite Dragon. I guess Bolt's the Ornithopter. Trying to find sorcery or enchantment or creature, and that'll give them Surveil. They get in for 5 a turn here. We now need Glimmer Void. So that we can dispatch. We'll go ahead and cast it. It doesn't buy us anything, but because we can't tap our lands for mana. GG. I have outs, opponent. Albeit they're not many. It's a Glimmer Void into second dispatch. Ooh, you bolted my creature. Whatever will I do? I still have outs. It's in for 7. Meaning I need exactly Glimmer Void into second dispatch here. Glimmer Void. That is not it. How far away from the Glimmer Void were we? That's unfortunate. Return to game. Good draw. Not. Okay, we weren't getting there. All right. So all in all, with the starting list, not a terrible showing for the deck. Ending 2-3. Arguably could be 3-2 if I didn't punt away game 4 there. Yeah, it feels pretty strong, but this being the classic version definitely has some improvements, and I think that the other lists that we're about to go play definitely has that improvement. So I'll see you guys in that video, and let's see how we can do.